2017. I bid you welcome. My name is Oluwa Mayomeko. We're glad President Buhari is back in the country, and so we don't have to go through a countdown again. After 104 days in the UK, the president of the president is back in the country. So join us as we go through the headlines and all news items making rounds today in our nation. Welcome. President Muhammadu Buhari, who returned to the country on Saturday after spending 3 months in London on medical vacation, resumed work yesterday. In a letter to the National Assembly, the president notified legislators he has resumed duties as he settled down to work from an office inside his official residence. Presidency officials have explained that the president's office is undergoing some repair work, but did not specify how long the renovation would take. Both Senate President Bukola Saraki and House of Representatives Speaker Yakubu Dogara have confirmed receipt of the president's letter. President Buhari also on Monday addressed the nation, where he warned against inflammatory statements and emphasized that the unity of Nigeria is settled and not negotiable. Buhari, who returned from London, said the government will no longer tolerate hate speeches and inflammatory statements. The president yesterday received a briefing from Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at about 3 p.m. in his official residence. He later met with Nasarawa State Governor Umar Tanko and Makura. He is scheduled to meet with service chiefs and heads of other security agencies at 11 a.m. today. You may recall that the president left for London on May 7 after handing power over to the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. Meanwhile, Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello has received knocks for declaring Monday a public holiday to mark the return of the president from London, where he had gone for medical treatment. The first blow came from the state chapter of the PDP, which describes the holiday as an aberration. The party, in a statement signed by its Director, Research and Documentation, Ashado Dixon, notes that declaration of public holiday in the state is the height of lack and loss of ideas. Also, the Igala Consultative Forum condemned the holiday, calling it an unthinkable decision enough to cost the Kogi economy colossal amount. They note that the sudden declaration of public holiday by Yahaya Bello is an eye service and diversionary. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo said the Buhari administration spent 1.3 trillion naira on capital projects in 2016, the highest in the history of the country. Osinbajo, who disclosed this at a plenary of the 2017 Nigerian Bar Association National Conference in Lagos, said the administration has set a solid foundation for the nation's economic recovery, which is the most important reform of the administration. On whether poor Nigerians in the rural areas have felt the impact of the reforms, the VP said diversification into agriculture has been embraced in most northern states. House of Representatives Committee on Diaspora has called on the federal government to intervene urgently in the alleged killing of 5 Nigerians in Ghana. Chairman of the committee, Rita Oji, who made the call at a news conference in Abuja, did not provide the identities of the 5 Nigerians or the circumstances that led to their killing, but revealed that the incident occurred in SHOWDOWN, Ghana on August 17 this year. Oji expressed worry that issues that concern Nigerians with nationals of their host countries are often left to degenerate to the point of claiming lives. Chairman of the National Caretaker Committee of the PDP, Senator Ahmed Mohamed McAfee, has given a hint on how the party will handle the issue of zoning ahead of the 2019 elections. He said leaders of the party would ensure that collective decisions of the party are allowed to hold sway at the end of the day. McAfee, in a chat with newsmen at his residence in Kaduna, said PDP will adopt what it obtained in previous presidential primaries, where those that did not agree with decisions on zoning were allowed to contest, but at the end of the day, the party had its way. A committee headed by Deputy President of the Senate, Ike Ekweremadu, had last year recommended that the presidential flag bearer of the PDP should emerge from the north and the national chairman from the south, a decision that was upheld at the party's convention in Port Harcourt. McCarthy said the decision has not changed and the party expecting all its members to abide by it. In a related development, McCarthy disclosed that the process of reconciling aggrieved foundation members of the party, including ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo, his erstwhile vice, Atiku Abubakar, Senate President Bukola Saraki, and other chieftains of the party who defected to the All Progressives Congress is already in progress. He added that the newly inaugurated Reconciliation and Discipline Committee have recorded progress in this regard in the party's efforts towards ensuring that it formed a formidable force to defeat the APC in the 2019 general elections. National Chairman of the APC, John Odige Oyegun, on Monday in Abuja inaugurated a 7-member reconciliation committee for the party's Kogi State chapter. The 7-member committee, which is chaired by retired General Idris Garba, also has as its members Don Etebet, Patricia Ete, retired Group Captain Rufai Garba, Umar Lawan Kareto, and retired Group Captain Joe Oji, and the party's Deputy National Secretary Victor Giadon. Odige Oyegun said the party's leadership wants peace and settlement in the Kogi State chapter of the party. The state governor Yahaya Bello and Senator Dino Melaye have been fighting for the control of the party in the state. Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano has called on the citizens of the state to brace up against any troublemakers with intention of disrupting peace or causing chaos ahead of the governorship election. The call is coming against the repeated threats by indigenous people of Biafra IPOB to disrupt the November 18 gubernatorial elections in the state. Addressing a gathering at Oka, Obiano disclosed that security reports available to him indicate that the architects of the threats are from outside of the state and not even people of the state. Reassuring residents of maximum security, the governor urged the people to treat the threat as empty as they get prepared for those with intention to disrupt peace during the election. Traditional ruler of Ohobi community in Edo State, His Royal Highness Kingsley Omorose, has fled the community after angry villagers invaded his palace and set it ablaze over the death of a former youth leader in the area. The deceased, Lambert Ibinowa, was said to have been killed at his house by some gunmen. The attackers were reported to have opened fire on him as he attempted to open the gate for them to come in. After the shooting, the villagers stormed the traditional ruler's palace, accusing him of sponsoring the killing. But Orose, who noted that there was an issue between the deceased and the community, denied the allegation. Valuable items belonging to the traditional ruler and some of his subjects were destroyed. At least 7 persons have been reportedly killed and many injured in renewed boundary disputes between Igbide and Enwe communities in Isoko South local government area of Delta State. Houses were also razed in both communities, rendering many homeless, while 9 persons reportedly sustained life-threatening gunshot wounds. Although the cause of Sunday clash is hazy, sources say that the fight started between some indigenes of the communities who had gone to farm on the disputed land. 2 Pakistanis abducted by kidnappers in Calabar have been rescued by the Nigerian police. Azim Khan, head of Chancery, Pakistan High Commission, has announced. Khan disclosed on Monday in Abuja that the police rescued the 2 victims, Azim Ali Khan and Rehan Siddiq, and captured the kidnappers. He said they were saved without any ransom paid and their vehicle was recovered by the police. They were kidnapped on August 13th this year. That's about a week ago. Ifeanyi Dike, the man who allegedly raped, killed, and removed vital organs of an 8-year-old girl, Victory Chikamso, has reportedly escaped from police custody in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. The father of the victim, Dr. Ernest Mmezuba, who was at the State Criminal Investigation Department when the suspected murderer and ritual killer escaped from police custody, said Dike took advantage of the darkness within the premises to escape. Mmezuba added that the suspect was able to escape because one of the policemen on duty on Saturday night identified that John Bosco had unlocked the handcuffs for Dike to write his statement. He expressed disappointment in the police, accusing them of playing game with a heinous crime against humanity, even as he vowed that he would never allow you to be swept under the carpet. Nigeria Police Force has launched a police public relations school to train officers in the 12 zonal commands, 36 state commands, and some senior officers. Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Idris, who disclosed this yesterday during a capacity building seminar for spokesperson of the police, also said the school is part of efforts to change public perception of the police by striving to do away with unethical behaviors. He urged the PPROs attending the inaugural training at the school to extend the knowledge they will acquire to their colleagues in their respective commands. Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority yesterday downgraded the operations of First Nation Airways, one of Nigeria's domestic carriers, from scheduled services to charter. This came after the embattled airline operated for 9 months with just one aircraft in contravention of the civil aviation regulations, which provided a minimum of 3 aircraft for any airline operating scheduled domestic service. NCAA had earlier granted the airline waiver to operate with 1 aircraft to enable it to refleet, but the airline failed to increase its fleet size during the grace period. Director General of NCAA, Captain Mukhtar Usman, also says the authority is working with the airline to ensure the payment of the 33.5 million naira sanctions imposed on it for violating safety procedures. He pointed out that the status of the airline as a non-scheduled carrier would remain until it increases its aircraft fleet to at least 2 and meets the requirements for scheduled services. Agencies of the federal government have remitted a total of 687.82 billion naira to the Consolidated Revenue Fund in 9 years, the Fiscal Responsibility Commission has said in a report. The amount was remitted as operating surplus between 2007 and 2015. The FRC Act 2007 requires listed government agencies to remit 80% of their annual operating surpluses to the Consolidated Revenue Fund. The operating surplus is made up of revenues accruing to government agencies above what it is approved to spend at the beginning of the budget year. Among the 30 agencies listed as qualifying to remit operating surpluses, the Central Bank of Nigeria made the highest return of 497.63 billion naira in a period of 8 years, although the CBN did not remit any surplus in 2015. Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, that's NNPC, did not remit any surplus within the 9-year period. Other organizations that made zero return to the Consolidated Revenue Fund are the Bureau of Public Enterprises, the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund, the National Environmental Standards Regulation Agency, the Nigeria Customs Service, and the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission. The Security and Exchange Commission made only one remittance of 1.93 billion naira in 2009, while the Nigerian Tourism Development Corporation made only one remittance of 51.73 million naira in 2013. Similarly, the Nigerian Port Authority made only one remittance of 6.16 billion naira in 2013, just as the National Business and Technical Education Board made one remittance of 14.94 million in 2013. And lastly, oh no, that's not lastly, we still have one news report for you. Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, in conjunction with vice chancellors, rectors, and provosts of higher institutions in the country, will this week decide on the minimum cutoff for admission into the various higher institutions of learning. A source at the ongoing JAM policy meeting workshop with stakeholders in Abuja say that the meeting might arrive at a decision by Wednesday. The meeting, which will produce a minimum cutoff mark for schools in the country, usually precedes. Sorry, let me take that again. The meeting, which will produce a minimum cutoff mark for schools in the country, usually precedes the opening of admission processes in universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. 222 girls have been offered scholarship to study in various tertiary institutions in the country. The girls were chosen out of the 338 candidates who applied for the scholarship under the Sustainable Development Goals Female Special Scholarship Awards. Presenting the awards to successful girls on Monday, the Acting Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Education, Dr. Adamu Hussaini, said the award is part of efforts by the federal government towards achieving Goal 4 of the SDGs. Federal University Dutsima in Katsina State has dismissed 3 workers and expelled 9 students for engaging in examination malpractices, according to the Acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Amuya Ibichi. Bichi, who made the disclosure while briefing newsmen yesterday in Dutsima, said the students and workers were caught red-handed during the semester examinations. The VC notes that the University Anti-Malpractice Committee investigated the cheating by the students before taking the decision to dismiss them. Food and Agricultural Organization, in collaboration with Africa Rice Nigeria, has distributed 51 bags of improved rice seeds to 50 farmers in Anambra State to boost production. Andrew Ikadeuno, FAO National Project Coordinator, Rice Value Chain, said in Oka on Monday that the beneficiaries were earlier selected and trained in February. According to him, other benefiting states in the program are Abia, Ekiti, Edo, Nasarawa, and Jigawa. And now lastly, yes, National Film and Video Censors Board has seized many copies of Nigerian movies and duplicating machines from pirates in Alaba markets. The items seized last week were displayed yesterday in Lagos. The raid follows an amendment to the NFVCB bill of 2016 signed into law by the acting president in March 2017, which states that release of unauthorized works attracts a maximum of 3 years jail term or a fine of 500,000 naira. That's what you can take today. But I always assure you, these are the news items making around today in Nigeria. Thank you for joining us. Join us tomorrow about this time as we bring you